So what we're here to do today is to find out how you can find the right business coach or mentor without getting burned. You know, we've all seen the stories of people advertise themselves online, and then once you spend your money and they've made all the promises, you find that they're not really quite what they promised to be, and you've done your money and you're going, damn, I wish I would have known better. So this is really the idea of this today is really just to say, how can I avoid these pitfalls, and how can I do better, and how can I actually find the right person so that they can help me out and make my business life be better. All right, so let's go. A little bit about me first. So I've spent over 15 years in senior roles at some very large organizations, multinationals that you can see here. And in 2008, I branched out into my own business and became the CEO of Peter Strohkorb Consulting, which then later became Peter Strohkorb Consulting International, now having offices in Australia and in the US. I am an international business coach and executive mentor, so it means that I do actually help people internationally. I do that very easily on Skype, and I have mentors on 3 continents now, mentees on 3 continents now that rely on my advice and guidance. And I'll talk a bit more about that a bit later. I'm a published author. My book's called The One Team Method. It's available on Amazon. I'm an international keynote speaker. I speak internationally I've spoken on 3 continents just last year alone. I'm a board director on 2 industry representative bodies in Australia, and really proud of doing that. I lecture at the prestigious Sydney Business School in the Executive MBA program on sales and marketing. And last but not least, my private interests are my family, of course. I play soccer and I play tennis. I coach soccer as well to the under 12s soccer team locally. I like cooking. I like enjoying fine wine, and they go together when I entertain, of course. And so we have friends over, and I really like to show them a good time and make sure that they get looked after. Now, just one piece of advice. I will actually, at the end of this, I will give you a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge and a lot of tips, but I hope it's okay with you that I will make an offer at the end, and you can take it or you can leave it. It's entirely up to you, but just let me know whether you are interested in that program or not. So let's have a look. So what does a business coach or mentor actually do? Now, as you would imagine, they're not really meant to make decisions for us or to solve our problems or to address the challenges on our behalf. They're just meant to support their clients through personal advice, through careful guidance, provide them with new information, insight and knowledge, and just really give them a different perspective to the ones that they would ordinarily have. They're usually an experienced and, I have to say, a trusted advisor. They're a safe, discreet and unbiased sounding board for new ideas, for new concepts or concerns. So you might say, hey John, let's call him John. Hey John, what do you think of this idea? And your mentor or coach would say, well, Charlie, have you thought of this, that or the other? Or it sounds really good, but, or they say, yeah, that's fantastic. So it's just a sounding board. So it's somebody safe to run an idea past, and they can give you the guidance that they perceive, and then you can make an informed decision and you have a second opinion. But of course, the mentors and coaches leave their clients the freedom to make their own decisions. So nobody's going to take the decision away from you. We're just going to give you guidance and advice, and you then make up your own mind and you take your own decisions. At times, coaches and mentors also challenge their mentees. So they say, have you thought of this? Or, no, do you know about this new legislation? Or this new trend has emerged. What are you going to do about it? That sort of thing. So let's talk about who uses coaches or mentors, and it's basically everyone. I mean, we know that sports stars have mentors and they have coaches. They have nutrition coaches and fitness coaches and strength coaches and all those sort of things. But even politicians and certainly business executives all have coaches or mentors, and sometimes even parents and sometimes even teenagers have mentors. So everybody basically who wants to get ahead in life and wants to further their career or their prospects relies on other people's advice that they pay for and they value. So then what do you get out of that? Well, the answer to this largely depends on what clients hope that mentors will give them. So generally speaking, they help to develop better considered decision-making in business and sometimes also with personal matters. So work-life balance comes into it a lot. And they broaden our horizons through exposure to different perspectives and learnings, as I said before. But also mentors and coaches can help to provide clarity on challenges and opportunities in business, career, and in personal life. And this may provide guidance on how best to promote our personal brand, give independent advice on navigating career options and professional choices, or to open up new networks of peers and influencers, penetrate new accounts, or offering on how to better balance work and personal life, like I said before. Also, they help to identify hidden issues. So sometimes we're so close to the forest that we can't see the trees, and the coach or mentor helps you to take a step back and see the big picture again and say, John, have you considered this, that, or the other? And also they help you to think through more deeply through particular issues or explore alternative aspects of something you might be thinking of. So it gives you kind of this breadth of seeing the world from your perspective. All right, so here's a testimonial from somebody I mentor in the US. And Todd said that my work has been extremely influential in the growth and expansion of his business, and I've helped him to assess situational opportunities, and he's come to depend on my guidance in his decision making. So it actually means that before he makes any important decisions, Todd comes to me and says, what should I consider? Have I forgotten something? Have I overlooked something? Is there something else I could do? And it really helps him to make the best of every situation. Now, a lot of people ask me, could having a coach or mentor be a sign of weakness? Like, will people think, oh, you've got a coach or mentor, there must be something wrong with you? But the reality is, the answer is no, it's not a sign of weakness. You think about it, many famous people have coaches and mentors, and having a mentor means that we have realized that there's a limit to our capability and that our own singular perspective is not always the right one or the best one, or in fact, you think about it, not seeking independent advice may even be perceived as being overconfident or even arrogant, and asking somebody else's advice is actually not just a humbling experience, but it's also an enriching experience for the person being asked. So having a coach or mentor is actually a sign of strength, not of weakness. Now, I just want to tell you about this organization here, Sun Microsystems, what they did with their mentoring program. Now, they ran it over a 5-year period involving about 1,000 employees in North America. And what they did was they had a mentoring program that they implemented into the organization, where they had people being mentored, and they had other employees who were the mentees. And after 1,000 employees and 5 years duration, they found that the ROI on mentoring was 1,000% for the organization. But for the individuals, there was also a great benefit. So 25% of the mentees and 28% of the mentors received a salary rise, versus the ones that didn't participate in the program, only 5% of those did. So you got 5 times as many people being rewarded through salary increases by being mentored or by being mentors themselves. They were also promoted 5 times more often than those people who did not have mentors, 5 times. And mentors themselves were 6 times more likely to be promoted. So being a mentor really helps you to raise your personal profile in an organization. And isn't that a telling story? So having a mentor or being a mentee is a really beneficial thing for you personally and also for your career. So the problem is, how do you find one? What criteria do you use? What how do you select them? What do you do to find the right one? And let's be frank with this. Having a mentor means it's an investment both in time and, of course, in dollars as well. But as you saw in the previous slide, the benefits greatly outweigh the challenges and the costs, and the investment more often than not just repays itself. Now, the process of choosing a mentor can be a very intensely personal matter, and it should be undertaken with great care, but it's also important to find somebody who's a good fit from both your personal and your professional perspective. So they've got to understand your business, they've got to understand where you're at, the environment and so on. They don't have to be an industry expert, but they must understand the business environment that you operate in. And of course, you must get along with them on a personal level. So having a mentor or a coach is a bit of a personal relationship, and you need to really find somebody that you're compatible with. And you will never know from an online ad or from some website whether they're actually suitable or not. So I'm afraid the best way to find one is to actually dive in and at least dip your toe in the water if you don't want to dive in right away. But for that reason, often reputable coaches and mentors offer a try before you buy session so that you can form your own opinion on their suitability to you and your suitability to them before you commit to a longer term program. And of course, you'll need to make sure that there is a personal commitment on both sides to improve your business, your career, and your life. So you need to have that commitment, you need to have compatibility, and you need to have the courage to actually go for it. Now, another one of my clients, Matthew in Sydney, he says that I've helped him spot new opportunities and see perspectives that he hadn't considered. And so he says that not only has his investment in me been returned many times over, but I've helped him grow his business and find new areas for business growth. And that's really rewarding for me as well, that I've helped Matthew to grow his business and to be as successful as he now is. Another one, Jonathan in the UK, he says that I provide him with an open mind and open ears and open heart. And that's really important for a coach, that they are good listeners and not just good advisors. That listening is not just waiting to speak. Yeah. So it's about being a good listener, taking it all in, considering what was said, and then giving a perspective, or challenging, or asking a question. So how do we find the right business coach or mentor? You need to experience hands-on what it's like to be coached or mentored if you really want to form your own opinion. So the best thing to do is to ask your friends and colleagues for referrals. Who mentors you? Who do you know? What have you heard? Word of mouth is a very strong marketing tool, but it's also a very strong confidence builder for us, because if we go with somebody who's been recommended to us, then we just feel safer than with somebody that we've never spoken to before or never dealt with before. But if you don't have that, then often the best way to do it is just to grab the bull by the horns and to try a coach or mentor. And you take up one of the many offers that I mentioned before, the try before you buy type thing is a really good way to find out whether you're compatible with them, whether they're compatible with you, what you're going to get out of them. And you can interview your coach or mentor just as they would interview you, because you want to make sure that there's a proper fit. You want to make sure that there's the grounds for a relationship there that can last and can be mutually rewarding. So don't be surprised if you have a bad experience. Don't be surprised if you have a good experience, but just have an experience, go in and try it out. And, really trust your instincts. The right coach or mentor will come along and they will simply feel right. You'll just have a gut feeling that they will be the right one for you. So go out and do that. But I just want to offer you an opportunity to do that here. So I'm going to offer you, as I promised, a one-on-one online coaching session with me just as a try before you buy. Now, Andrew in Sydney runs an insurance broking agency, and he said that my insight, knowledge and context is really valuable to his business and to him personally. And I didn't mention the context before. It's quite often your mentor or coach will have a large network of business contacts that he or she will allow you to draw on and leverage for your own business, within reason, and only once they perceive that it's actually beneficial to you and also, I suppose, to them and to the other contacts. But find one that has a great business network, and you'll never look back, because it'll just open up new opportunities for you. So in addition to this one-on-one online coaching session for new clients, I will also give you my book on the One Team Method. This is a book on sales and marketing team collaboration. It's a substantial book. It's out on Amazon. It's had 10 five-star reviews, and it's almost become a bestseller. And it's a substantial book. It's not one of those flimsy ebooks. It's actually a proper 288-page book with thud factor. When you thud it on the table, it actually makes a thudding sound. Also, you get my 7 mistakes in sales and marketing alignment, which is a summary of the mistakes that I frequently encounter in organizations, free of charge. There is a 30-page research report on the sales and marketing interactions between 187 B2B organizations, and that's a substantial piece of work, also free for you. And a free subscription to the Marketing News newsletter, that's mine, and a free membership to the Sales and Marketing Collaboration community on LinkedIn. All that, plus a one-on-one coaching session with me, instead of $897, only $97, plus GST in Australia. And for those of you overseas, that's 97 Australian dollars. So it's probably a third less than the US dollar, and it's about half of a UK pound. So it's a real bargain. $897 in value for only $97, so $800 off. If you want to take advantage of this offer, please type in your email address now, and we'll contact you and get you set up and find you a time for a one-on-one online coaching session with me.